The Redmi 9 Prime is one of the latest phones from the stable of Xiaomi, definitely not the latest by any chance. I have been using this phone on a daily basis for more than 20 days, and here I will present my review of the Redmi 9 Prime, or the Redmi 9 as it is known in some countries. The phone is available in Amazon and offline retail stores for a price of Rs 10,000 for the 64GB variant and Rs 11,000 for the 128GB variant. If you prefer to skip to any particular section of the video, please make use of the chapters added. Let's talk about the design of the phone. In the front, we have a big 6.53-inch Full HD Plus display with a teardrop notch design which accommodates the 8-megapixel front camera. The left side of the phone houses the dual SIM card tray with dedicated memory card slot. Up top, we have an IR blaster and a microphone. Coming to the right side, the phone sports the volume and power buttons, which are pretty close to each other. The buttons feel tactile and works properly. However, the tall nature of the phone means reaching them can be an issue for some. On the bottom side, we get a 3.5mm headphone jack, another microphone, USB-C port which supports up to 18-watt charging, and a single loudspeaker setup. It would have been great if Xiaomi had included the 18-watt charger in the box instead of the 10-watt. But hey, it's better than a fruit which decided to omit it altogether. The back side of the phone is plastic with a groovy textured finish with a small Redmi branding. The camera unit has 4 cameras, a flash and a fingerprint scanner. I had no issues with cellular connectivity with Jio and BSNL SIM cards, and the network speed were on par with the other phones I've used. Since I did not transfer my payment-based applications and other sensitive apps to this phone, I did use this as a Wi-Fi hotspot for quite some time, and it worked really well with good coverage and great signal. When it comes to call quality, the people on the receiving end could not hear me properly unless I talked quite loudly, but I could hear them properly thanks to this loud and clear earpiece speaker. People on the other end mentioned about background noises creeping in too, so there is less noise isolation. The Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity was good too, but I did feel that my Bluetooth earphones volume output was lower than usual. Navigation worked without any issues with Google Maps in highways as well as on streets. The compass sensor works fine too. The display that Xiaomi has bundled is really good, but there is an issue with viewing angles. It's not much of an issue, but a very slight issue. Unless you and your group of friends decide to watch a movie or watch videos on the phone, it is not a major issue. I did not like the fact that there is no proper color settings like an sRGB or P3 mode, as the saturation levels are uncomfortable for me personally. Under harsh sunlight, visibility can be a slight issue, but it's not like you can't see anything. I'm not sure about the scratches that might appear on the phone, since I used it with the bundle screen protector as I have to return this phone. The phone is definitely on the heftier side due to the large battery. The bloatware bundled with this phone is on the higher side, which is something that Xiaomi constantly shovels down your throat and choke you with all these unwanted apps. Many could be uninstalled, but some refuse to leave the phone, which led me to disabling notifications and removing permissions. The MIUI is something that I hate personally, so I shifted to Nova Launcher, which works just fine with a clean minimal look. The output from the headphone jack is good too. The single speaker, if not covered, produces loud sounds, so you won't miss out on calls. You can set some good gestures like long pressing on the home icon to lock the screen, double tap to wake, double pressing on volume down to turn on camera from lock screen, and so on. The fingerprint scanner works well too, even with slightly moist hands. If there is something that impressed me a lot and something that I would miss when I shift back to my old phone, it will be this huge 5020 mAh battery. With around 5 hours of screen on time with light gaming, YouTube and browsing, I could push this phone for 2 days with a single charge. Charging with the bundle charger takes almost 2.5 hours to charge from 15% to 100%. I am the kind of guy who uses phone sparingly on weekends, which enable me to push the phone usage for 4 days and 9 hours. Please keep in mind that I have turned off notifications for majority of the apps on my phone. The standby time is also good, with a discharge of less than 3% battery drain overnight. With games like Asphalt and Call of Duty, the battery does discharge quicker than usual, but it is as expected. For normal or light usage, with plenty of phone calls, messaging, using WhatsApp, light occasional gaming with small games like Ludo, Candy Crush and the like, reading PDFs or ebooks, watching videos, listening to music and so on, I found it to be comfortable in handling these levels of loads. Please bear in mind that I have not used Google Chrome, Facebook, the Google app, Instagram and Twitter continuously on this phone. I'm sure that with the inclusion of these apps, there will be occasional minor lags which won't be much of an issue. But having used the phone for 20 plus days, I do feel that if you load plenty of apps and fill up your phone storage, the phone can get slow after some months of usage. Coming to heavy usage, with the inclusion of heavy games, browsing through social media frequently, using Google Assistant and switching between apps a lot, the phone does start to lag at times, especially after gaming for a while. If you're serious about gaming and thinking of esports quite seriously, stay away from this phone. Does it work? Yes, it does. But do not expect that you can run it at high graphics setting without lag and record your screen and game simultaneously. If you're a demanding user, then you might have to consider expanding your budget and preferably use a phone in the next budget range. Many times after using apps that consume plenty of memory, the home screen takes 6 to 7 seconds to load. In my experience, this quad camera setup has been a hit and miss kind of situation. I have used the native app and a Google camera port, hoping that the sensor would be better with better image processing. I was disappointed with it though. The sharpest and the clearest output is provided or produced by the main camera, followed by the ultrawide and macro. The last camera is a 2 megapixel depth sensor. If you are serious about smartphone photography, this is something that will disappoint you as the camera fails to produce details even in well lit conditions. I must make myself clear here. If your usage is going to be just snapping and viewing them on phone, or say opting to print on 4x6 inch size images and sharing on social media, this will produce decent result in well lit conditions. However, when it comes to low light conditions like nighttime photography outdoors, the camera even struggles to focus. But the Pro mode, which doesn't support RAW by the way, can produce some decent looking images if you opt for a slow shutter speed and low ISO value. On artificial lighting conditions, there is a lot of noise, but there are no issues with focusing. Since I am a camera centric person, this set of cameras have been a major disappointment. Phone manufacturers must go for a dual camera setup at maximum in this price range and offer better sensors instead of increasing camera count for marketing. Coming to video recording, the same issues that I had with stills are carried forward. But hypothetically, if you are on a tight budget and would love to make videos that involves less movement under excellent lighting conditions, you can make it work. On the other hand, if you are a video centric person, stay away from this. Well, this is how the camera performs, the front camera performs under low light conditions. So let me just try and switch off the main light over there and use this light. Yes, this will be the maybe, what can you say, the extreme low light situation, if you will. So this is how it looks. These are my thoughts on the phone. To conclude, if you want a decent display, wonderful battery life, If you're not camera centric and game centric, is okay with the MIUI and do not crave for performance consistently, you can consider this. Well, there you have it. If you haven't already subscribed and liked the type of content that I make, please consider subscribing. See you guys in the next video. Until then, take care and stay safe.